ironically. And so we're stretched. We can't get up to troop strength that they wanted, at least some wanted in the department. Secretary Rumsfeld sure didn't want it, but the generals were saying we've got to get more people. But that's my first goal, is to end this war, to bring our troops home, because we are now in an insurgency situation that is sectarian, that have ancient animosities that there's no way we can police them out of. There's no way that we can run a government of a democracy that's fashioned after our great traditions. They don't understand, want, or appreciate us there anymore. But the second most important goal, in answer to your question, is a universal healthcare system, which is not new but old, and that there's a great history for it.
Does that mean national health insurance?
Yes, universal health insurance, single payer, and of course everybody's proposal on health care says universal in it now. It's only till you read the fine print that you find out that you still have the same insurance companies, HMOs, people making profit. And, it goes to the question of what kind of country are we? What is America in terms of health care when you have these stories? And at one time I asked my staff, please don't bring me any more tales of tragedy and woe about the suffering and deaths and misery and heartache caused by our system. Just Sunday in Detroit, we were having a hearing, and here is a woman that was told, you need an operation right away, but you don't have the right insurance company. You need to produce $500 before. And they said, you're going to die. I mean, they look her straight in the eye and say, you're going to die if you don't do this, but you have to put $500 on. And she was telling us, as a regular citizen, she had never written a bad check before in her life till then. And she said she came back home.
Well, don't we really, if you look at the bottom line of all of this, we really have national health insurance and people are paying for it, but they don't realize it. In other words, people who are uninsured today, they are taken care of, and it's on the public debt, actually. And people who are paying for insurance today in higher premiums are really paying for those people who don't have insurance.
Yeah, but you can't get regular health care treatment out of an emergency room. And as a matter of fact, more and more emergency rooms are saying, don't come back here again. It costs 3 to 4 times more for whatever you do.
It seems to me we can pay money to kill people, but we can't pay money to keep them well.
Keep them alive.
I'm going to have to cut away from you for just a moment. I want to get back to the whole question of health care with you right after a word from our stations locally. We've been talking to Congressman John Conyers, who's chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, a real veteran of the Congress. We've been talking about health care. And what is the real answer is something that you have put legislation in on, I take it. And you have how many sponsors now on that legislation?
Oh, it's about 83 to be exact. And growing. It's called the Universal Single Payer National Health Care Plan. And it was put together by...
What does single payer mean?
Single payer means that there's no more of the dozens of insurance companies selling health care. For the average person, they would need a doctor, a lawyer, and an accountant to figure out which plan is the most appropriate for them. And so what we're saying, that health care is a right and not a privilege. It's not a matter of the first thing you're asked in coming into any medical system, what's your insurance plan? Are you this, Blue Cross, HAP, blah, blah. And of course, it's the reason doctors are coming over to H.R. 676, the plan that this is the third Congress that I've been advancing it. And before that, Dr. Jim McDermott of Washington was leading the battle, and I picked it up from him. He's still a supporter of the same plan that we keep improving. But the whole idea is that we end this huge business. We spend $1.8 or $9 trillion, more than anybody else in healthcare, but 47 million people have none, and more than 30 million people are underinsured and don't know it until they walk in needing something and they say, this isn't included, or we don't, no, operations like this, diabetes, no. So what we've done is say, enough. Every American, from the minute you're born, you have a card, and it has nothing to do with what plan you're in, because it's single payer. And the payer, as our language in the bill creates, can be a combination of existing insurance companies coming together as one, or they create one, we take one and they make it one. And we try to transition into this system all of the people that would be needed to accompany the system.
Doesn't the Veterans Administration have a single payer?
The Veterans Administration, the military, are all single payer. When our automobile companies produce American cars in Windsor, Canada, 15 minutes from my Detroit, they're all single payer workers, and it's worked very well.
The critics say that competition among the insurance companies is what brings the cost down, however.
Well, nobody's ever talked about costs going down in the medical industry. I mean, that's one of the problems, and I'm worried about VEBA, the Voluntary Employees Beneficial Association, that was just negotiated with the United Automobile Workers and the automobile, and I think it was General Motors, in which we say employer-based insurance doesn't work. And the employers say, you're right, we give it to the unions to administer now. And good luck, UAW, and Mr. Gettelfinger, president of UAW, because our experience, the limited experience we've had with this pass-off from employer to union, puts them in the same fix that the employer was in, because costs keep rising, as everybody knows.
Let me move